All right, what I'm going to talk about next tends to be a little controversial for some people, but let's just talk about it. Let's discuss it like men, and whatever works, that's what I want you to use. So if this technique doesn't work for you, if you try it out and it doesn't work, then that's fine. I don't want you to use it. If what you're using works, then you probably don't even need to try this one. But if you're looking for help, if you want to be a better shooter, then just hear me out and try this technique, and I'm sure it will work for you, because so far anybody who I've taken to the range and shown it to and has tried it has agreed that it works just fine. So key number one, I talked about it with the pistol grip itself in that video, is don't let the tail wag the dog. So this is the tail right here, and this is your dog, okay? You need a good consistent grip, so that's number one. So get that good grip like I talked about in the grip video, and wherever your finger lands on that trigger is where your finger should go on that trigger, okay? So we can talk about, you know, what people say is, you know, you want it right on the soft part on the middle of the tip of your finger, okay? Well, that works on, you know, a competition gun. When you have a light gun and a heavy trigger, like this is right here, that's not going to work. You know, these recommendations come with guys who have very light triggers and very heavy guns. So that works for them. But we're using more combat defensive guns, and we need to use what works for this. So get that good grip, let your finger land where it lands, okay? Because if you think about it, if I'm not concerned about my grip and I'm breaking my grip to get my finger on a certain point, what's going to happen to that gun when it does go off? It's going to possibly fly out of my hands, which I've seen people do that at the range. So don't let that be you, okay? Consistent shooting comes from a consistent grip, okay? So get that finger on the trigger wherever it lands. Now, I've talked about this before, but I want to keep this knuckle right here pointed straight down range at my target. If I can keep this knuckle pointed straight as I press back on the trigger is going to go straight back. What happens when people pull their rounds is that this knuckle right here either moves this way or it pushes that way. If you do that, if I pull this way, I'm going to pull the gun, but this knuckle has to bend right here. If I keep it straight, the trigger will go straight back. The other thing to think about is the trigger is a lever. So think about where your finger is. More important than what part of your finger is on the trigger, think about where your finger is on the face of that trigger. It's a lever, so the further down you get on that lever, the easier it's going to be to pull that trigger. Some people bury their finger way up high here, and it's going to be harder to pull the trigger. So think about where it is on the face. But some keys to that placement of your trigger finger are consistent grip first. Don't let the tail wag the dog. All right, get that good grip, put your finger where it comfortably sits on that gun, and then keep this knuckle pointed straight at your target as you press back on the trigger. Don't let it pull or push, and your rounds will go where you want them to go.